And the nothing people make fun of the God people. They say God doesn't exist.
Very, very simple. And why is that funny?
This comedian has the perfect joke roasting atheism, and Cardinal Pell has an amazing mic drop moment talking with atheist Richard Dawkins. Hey, I'm Father David Michael Moses. I'm a Catholic priest, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing so you don't miss future videos. Let's jump right into this comedian's routine.
Some people think God created the universe. Some people think nothing created the universe, which is the funniest guess. And the nothing people make fun of the God people. They say God doesn't exist. I'm like, okay, maybe. But you know what definitely doesn't exist? Nothing. That's the defining characteristic of nothing, is that it doesn't exist. So what are we talking about?
Gosh, that's so good. And it's so true. I mean, the idea that the universe spontaneously erupted into existence is insane. It's comical, it's humorous. It just shows the absurd lengths that people are willing to go to avoid saying God created everything, to avoid putting God in the picture. For atheists, there just cannot be a supernatural creator. There can't be anything like a God figure. So they have to say something crazy like nothing. Really, what they have is faith. They're willing to say the nothing is going to explain everything. The nothing has to be the explanation for it. They rag on Christians for having faith, but really they have faith too. We just have faith in God. They have faith in nothing.
Either you think it's God, something you can't see, touch, taste, photograph, and science can't prove, or you think it's nothing, something you can't see, touch, taste, photograph, and science can't prove. But I think we can all agree, if your nothing sometimes spontaneously erupts into everything, that's a pretty magical nothing, you guys.
Exactly. Because you can't say God, you need to say it's some very, very special nothing. The problem is if you say it's something, then the next question is, well, what created that something? So you have to keep going back to when there was nothing for the start of the universe. And the problem is nothing just doesn't work very well unless it's something. This actually reminded me of another quick clip of a debate between atheist Richard Dawkins and Cardinal Pell, who is a Catholic bishop, Catholic cardinal. Check out this moment. This is amazing.
Of course it's counterintuitive that you can get something from nothing. Of course common sense doesn't allow you to get something from nothing. That's why it's interesting. It's got to be interesting in order to give rise to the universe at all. Something pretty mysterious had to give rise to the origin of the universe. You can dispute exactly what's meant by nothing, but whatever it is, it's very, very simple. And why is that funny?
Well, I think it's a bit funny to be trying to define nothing.
Somebody ought to be music. Oh, yes. Whoever made this edit. Gosh, that's so good. That's so good. That's amazing. You see him floundering, right? Trying to define nothing and trying to explain how the nothing he's talking about is actually kind of a unique, interesting, mysterious nothing. And then when everybody laughs, because the audience, who I'm assuming like half of them probably are actually on his side, they're laughing because they know it makes no sense. But again, he has faith. He can't get out of it because he can't say God. And Cardinal Pell over here is just saying, hey, it's pretty funny that you're trying to define nothing. Like that's something a child should be able to do. If we're talking about science, the answers should be more logical, not less logical. They should make more sense, not less sense. Here's the thing. Theism, the belief that there is a God, starts actually very, very simply. We're just saying there's a world. It must have been created. That's the starting point. I don't start my arguments for God by trying to convince somebody of the divinity of Christ or of the resurrection or something like that. I believe those things. I believe that those things are true, but that's not the starting point of theism. The starting point, the foundation, is actually much, much simpler than that. St. Thomas Aquinas had something he called the 5 proofs for the existence of God. You can check those out. But the main thrust of it is very, very simple. We see all these things in the world. Something must have created them. We see all this movement in the world. Things are moving and we know things can't move themselves. So there must be some first mover. A lot of things in the world aren't necessary. So there must have been some being that originally was necessary. So all of these contingent things could come into existence. And at the end of each argument, Aquinas says, and this is what we call God. His point in that is not that he doesn't know more things about God. He was actually a Catholic priest. We know that he had lots of things he believed about God. But his point is that the beginning of this conversation of if there's a God or not, it starts on a very basic common sense level. Like, we'll get to the more complicated stuff, but we can invite an agnostic into a conversation with a very basic premise. It doesn't have to be about the resurrection or the divinity of Christ. And those things are important. We'll get to those things. But it starts with, hey, the world exists. So someone must have created it. It couldn't have all come from nothing. Thank you so much for watching. If you found that helpful, you can check out this video here or this video here. We'll see you next time. God bless.